ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
It is Wednesday, January 15th. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Our text line this hour brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. That is your invitation to be a part of today's show here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Coming up in about 15 minutes, give or take, we're going to hear from the head coach of the Marshall tennis team. John Mercer is going to join us. The season's about ready to begin, so we're going to catch up with him, find out what's new with the tennis team. Of course, they've got an event coming up, fundraiser, so we'll let John tell you a little bit more about that. So that's coming up about 5:15 on the program, so I'm looking forward to that. But until then, we got a lot to get into today, as we always do. First up, we got to talk about how Marshall Track and Field swept all four of the Sun Belt Conference's weekly awards. All four. Now, of course, Kylie Maston is always going to be there. It's the Kylie Maston Invitational. When it's her week to run, to compete, she's always going to be pretty much highly considered to be the athlete of the week in track and field for the Thundering Herd. And so she earns track athlete of the week on the women's side. And then Peter Oliveira earns the male track athlete of the week. And then on the field athletes of the week award list, Rebecca Merritt and Addison Painter win the women's and the men's award. Maston, of course, setting a school record in the 1K and won the mile at the Alumni Classic, while Oliveira took the 60-meter hurdles title. Merritt swept the weight throw and the shot put, undefeated this season. And Painter set a new men's long jump record of 7.58 meters. That is currently ranked 5th in Division I. So more honors coming the Herd's way. They're really building something over there with track and field. And, of course, some other news came out that was really, let's just say, we knew this. We knew this. Now the nation knows this. Marshall's Brooklyn Ehrlich has been named the 5th best second baseman in Division I softball by D1 Softball for 2025. Ehrlich is a redshirt junior, ranking 84th in D1 Softball's preseason D100 player ranking. Last season, she led the Sun Belt Conference in RBI at 48, doubles at 19, and home runs at 13, and earning a spot on the All-Sun Belt first team and being named NFCA First Team All-Region. So a lot of good news coming up for the Thundering Herd. And I'll say this. I'm excited. We're going to finally get some baseball going soon. And the softball program seems to be firing back up. We've got tennis coming up here soon. So there's a lot going on to kind of keep us occupied after basketball finishes. Of course, we've got plenty of basketball. And that game coming up tomorrow, Marshall at James Madison, right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. And speaking of basketball, this made the AP. And so I came across this today. This made AP. There's a story about Coach Caldwell, about the fact that she is expecting, and she's going to be giving birth soon, and the fact that she is going to be returning as quickly as possible, and she's in a situation now where she's a role model for other working mothers. And it's an interesting story on the AP's website. So Coach Caldwell doing really well right now at Tennessee and expecting. I normally wouldn't think of anything like that. She's going to coach. from my limited time with her, I know that she's going to be out there. She's going to coach. She's going to go off, have a child, and then come right back. And I think nothing of it, but it still is a thing to a lot of people because this maybe is normalized to me. For a lot of people, it's not normalized. So it's an interesting story, interesting news item today from the Associated Press as we keep tabs on Kim Caldwell, doing really good at Tennessee right now. That was a great move for her. Hopefully the Marshall women on this side of things can start getting things going. The Henderson Center is going to be the place tonight for the women's basketball team. The team is 5-11, unfortunately 0-5 in Sun Belt play, facing off against JMU. 4-game homestand for the ladies. Sun Belt right now is tough on the women's side. JMU 13-4, undefeated in league play. So if Marshall can get this game tonight, maybe start turning things around, start winning some games in the homestand, that would be a nice one to have, as they're the Sun Belt Conference leader right now. So making a statement at home, getting a win over JMU will get some people's attention. Unfortunately, they're hurt right now, struggling at 5-11. If you are going to the game, it's a whiteout. So you're asked to wear white. You can pick up a white rally towel rag. That'll be at the entrance point at Henderson Center. There'll be a few tables with those, so you can pick those up. And you can get a bang-a-banner. It's a noisemaker, a bang-a-banner. I don't know if I want to see a bang-a-banner at a men's game, but at the women's game, okay. I'm okay with that. The rally towel, I don't know if I'm a big fan of the rally towel. I'm not a Steelers fan. I always think of that stupid, terrible towel, so I'm not really a rally towel guy. I'll ask my next guest in a minute if he's a big fan of the rally towel, because he is a big Pittsburgh guy, and that's John Mercer. He's going to join us on the other side of the break. We're going to talk about what's happening with the tennis team. Also, they've got an event coming up. It's Play with the Herd. Weather has pushed it back, so it's going to be January 25th at the Tennis Center in Barboursville, so we'll talk to him about that. It's a great fundraising opportunity for the program. John Mercer, Marshall's tennis coach, on the other side of the break when we continue on today's edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
You've cut back on everything, and you're still coming up short at the end of the month. Give your local State Farm agent a call for a free discount double check. They'll show you how something as simple as combining car and home policies can save you hundreds of dollars a year. Being there to help keep more of your money is why your local State Farm agent is here. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
In Huntington, John Garden, 304-525-1116. And in Barboursville, Marcia Slater, 304-736-6100.
Giovanni's has great Italian dishes. Spaghetti with meat sauce, lasagna, ravioli, manicotti, all dinners served with hot garlic bread or Italian rolls. Giovanni's, the Italian place to be.
Hey, Tri-State, Frank's Place is where friends hang out with friends. Stop on by for happy hour from 4 to 6 p.m. and a lot of daily specials. If you're a sports fan, we have what you want. From the biggest game in professional football, NBA, NCAA basketball, and the NHL. First responders, stop by Frank's Place and check out the specials we have for you. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza, next to Fratelli's. Check us out on Facebook for weekly updates and specials. Frank's Place, your home away from home.
Okay, forest animals, today is a new day. Kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow.
Yes?
Have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. Okay, River.
Dude,
How's the temperature?
it's a refreshing 52 degrees, man. Perfect for a little riverside shoeless relaxation.
Ah, good. Owl, you here? Course. Who's asking? I am. Look, you know the drill. Sleep during the day, scare the kids at night. Perfect. I love my job. Oak Tree?
What's up?
Still in the same place I left you last year. That's what I like. Consistency.
Well, it's not like I'm going anywhere for the next couple hundred years.
I know. I love it. Turtle. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. You'd think you would have learned by now to leave the night before our meetings. Okay, Squirrel. Has anybody seen Mr. Squirrel?
The Forest has been preparing just for you. Visit a forest near you today. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Our text line this hour brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Let's welcome to the program now. He is the head coach of the Marshall tennis team, John Mercer. And John, of course, a huge Pittsburgh fan, big fan of the Steelers. Sorry about your loss, Coach. Sorry about that. Hate that.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Wasn't pretty, was it?
No, I was happy for that. I mean, I usually wouldn't root for either one of those teams, but I was happy for you to see that loss. Are you a big fan of the big, terrible towel? We were talking about towels because I know the women are going to be giving away some rally towels tonight at the women's game, the basketball game. But are you a big fan of the terrible towel, the towel itself?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. All right. I'm not. I'm absolutely not. No, not a fan.
I can imagine that. Yeah.
Shocking. Absolutely shocking.
I grew up with Jack Fleming and Myron Cope, so that tells you enough right there.
Yeah. I'm not a big Myron Cope guy. Sorry. Rest his soul.
The Copenut.
Not a big Cope guy. Mr. Fleming, though.
He had an awesome talk show himself, just like you.
I never heard it, actually. I was familiar with him in his play-by-play role, his color role. But still, yes, with the great Jack Fleming. Fleming was this. You know what? He's a WVU guy, but he was also great to listen to. So I know, it was easy for Steelers fans that maybe didn't like WVU to maybe make that switch on Sundays.
Yeah. No, he was fantastic. Myron Cope was fantastic. He was a fantastic writer, too. You knew that. Right?
I did know that.
So,
just again, though, I'm not a Steelers guy, so I have to be anti-Myron Cope. I mean, because he's a beloved Steelers figure, I have to be anti-Myron Cope. Lovely human being. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. I'm sorry.
Well, hopefully I'm bringing back a lot of good memories for some older Steeler fans out there.
Yeah,
it
tremendous.
Was a great time to be a Steeler fan.
Yeah, that's what makes it fun. The personalities that help sometimes bring you the game.
They were as big as the players. Yeah, as big as the players themselves.
John Mercer's with us, Marshall's tennis coach. We got a season starting real soon here. Luckily for you, you're going to be competing indoors. You don't have to worry about the snow and ice and all this nasty stuff. Isn't it nice you can go indoors or outdoors? It really is
great.
Nice.
It is great. I mean, it's you get from here to north. I mean, it's pretty much indoors. So up until the end of February or so. So you kind of have like two split seasons. We'll get into the Sun Belt, and then everything will pretty much be outdoors. So. You kind of get the best of both worlds, but it's great to be indoors this time of the year. It's not really tennis weather today outside, but we had some good practice inside today out at the 7827 Tennis Club. So we're getting our work in. So
let's start with what's coming up for your squad. You're getting everything ready to go. You've got Cleveland State on the schedule. And so you'll be in Cleveland for that. Are you going to be okay first and foremost going to Cleveland? I know being a Steelers guy, is it going to be okay with you?
Well, I'll go in there with a very low profile. Let's say that.
Okay, that's fair.
As far as getting there, it's great to be inside and playing inside. You always get a little concerned about the travel conditions. So we've run into that before, but it looks like we should be okay. So. We're putting our team together. We had two newcomers here in January, so they've been here a little bit more than a week. So we're trying to integrate them into some of the stuff we do, on the doubles court and kind of what we're looking for in the singles court. But excited to have them both, and it's definitely going to make our team stronger.
Let's talk about them since they're the newcomers. Let's Let's start at the top and tell me who you brought in and what makes them somebody that you're excited about.
Alina from the Ukraine left 3 years ago when the war started. Has been Germany in the last 3 years. Very good player. Was recruited by quite a few Power 4 schools, including WVU. Fortunately, we were, came out on top of the recruiting battles, and she chose here. And she's a wonderful personality. Just great ball hitter, very good athlete, and she's going to be something to really watch over the next 4 years. So she's definitely top of the lineup player that will continue to improve and be really good for us. So our other players, student athletes that came in, Noor is from Morocco. Same thing, very solid junior career, traveled a lot around, Europe and so on playing. Had good rankings, has really good ranking, probably, start more in the middle of our lineup. And right now, trying to get her adjusted to the indoors. She had only played 3 times indoors in her entire life to now. So she's coming from summer and playing on red clay, which if people know is a lot slower than the hard courts, and then you take it indoor hard. So it's really different, but very smart person, and she'll adjust and figure it out. And, she'll be a big asset for us as the season goes along. So those are the 2 newcomers, and outside of that, we're basically returning 3 of our top 4. So that's encouraging. Off a team that finished second in the Sun Belt last year, and it'll be a good season. We have a good team and a great young group of ladies. So it'll be a lot of fun.
I like how you didn't go for their last name. It's Alina and it's Noor. You did not go with the full pronunciation guide. How challenging is that when you bring international players in to try to break those barriers down at the same time? The tennis is tennis. That's the universal language, but how difficult is that for you to adapt to someone who maybe doesn't have a common frame the way you and maybe American-born players have? You sort of have a common reference point.
The game, so Noor Aluzani and Alina Mokarinskaya. It's, the tennis really makes it universal. Tennis is such an international sport. You turn on the, ESPN 2 these nights, they're showing the Australian Open, which is nice summer weather. And you got a lot of American kids, and you got Ukrainian, and you got, kids from Moroccan, you got players from all over the world, Germany. And so we all kind of grow up in that world, meeting international parents and players, even when they're in juniors. I mean, even my youngest daughter, who's 14, beginning of December, was down in Florida playing the Orange Bowl, which is an international tournament, and played a couple of kids from South America. So, at a very young age, these kids get used to competing against, people from all over the world, and it's really it's a great learning experience for everybody. So when it comes down to it, you learn real quick. They're just young women like everybody else, like somebody who grew up in Charleston, West Virginia. They have the same concerns and needs and want to be successful and do well in their tennis, but also their school. And that's really what we're here to do, is give them an opportunity to do that and to grow. And we've had tremendous success, with our tennis student athletes, from the international ones and the American ones, from everything from, being doctors to every other occupation that there is. So it's really fun to see them all grow and travel back around the world, or even stay here in the States. I can give you a couple examples. Anna Matina, who's in our Hall of Fame, she's a operating ER nurse, head nurse in hospital up in Pittsburgh, and that's what she does. She does fantastic. So, we have examples like that all over. So it's really fun to stay in touch with them and see what they do, see their families grow.
John Mercer's with us, and to be fair to John, I put him on the spot there because I told him I wasn't pronouncing these names until he did.
You got to work on it, Paul.
I'm working
Come
on
on
it.
now.
I think I got it. Alina.
Okay.
Alina Mokrinskaya. Mokrinskaya.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, and then the other one is Noel Wazani, I think.
It's Noor.
Noor.
Yeah, Noor.
Norel.
It's Elu Azani. Elu Azani.
Norel. Okay, Norel.
Noor is her first name.
Noor.
And her second name is L.
Okay.
Yeah, L with a little quotation at the top.
Okay, Norel.
And
Wazani.
Luzani. Yeah.
Okay. Is not. No, I'm saying wa, right? I'm saying wa. It's not wa. Norel Wazani.
No, it's Luzani.
Okay. We'll practice this together, John.
You got it.
Okay, I think so. We're going to practice this together.
You got to come cover a match one day. Then you can really work on their pronunciation.
Right. She'll go, I'm sorry, I don't understand. What are you saying to me? John Mercer's with us. Yeah. He's the head coach of the tennis team. Of course, John and I go back a long way, so it's always fun to welcome him back on the program. And sometimes we get off base just a little bit. Sometimes we have our squirrel moments, but you've got matches coming up, so we're ready to get into season. You've got the international players. I wanted to ask you before we get into your returners a little bit more. Are you finding that the better talent is overseas, or is it still case by case? You're just looking for diamonds in the rough. You're just trying to find talent wherever it's at, and it doesn't matter if it's overseas or homegrown.
Right, yeah. We're trying to find talent wherever we can find talent. We would prefer it to be homegrown. It's just a really tough, which we did for a long time, as you know. I mean, we had a lot of American kids who were very successful here. It's gotten a little tougher with the way it's set up financially, with the Power 4 schools and so on. It's tougher to recruit those high caliber five-star American kids. So probably, I don't know, so 4 years ago, I think I'd bought 3 5-star American kids. Back when we had the Smith sisters and a couple other ones, Rachel Morales. So, that whole group there. So they were pretty good. Then the world of college athletics started changing, with the autonomy conferences and so on. And that changed our world a little bit. But you know what? I mean, it all changes, and it's going to keep changing, and who knows where we're going to end up. And, we're always looking to recruit good American kids. So we had a couple good ones here in West Virginia this past year. One's going to Dayton. The other one, we thought we had her here. She was from Morgantown, but then she ended up deciding to stay at WVU. So we were a little disappointed in that, but good girl, but we'll enjoy competing against her. So coming up this spring.
John Mercer's with us, Marshall's tennis coach. The season's about underway. You've got a couple of newcomers you're hoping that you really get some production out of. As far as your returners, you alluded to, you've got 3 of your 4 starters coming back. What's the outlook for your returners? What are you excited about for each one?
Yeah, so we actually have 4, actually, I should have said. We have 4 of the 6.
Okay, 4
coming back.
Okay.
And actually, so 2 of them, JoJo and Emma, people know them. They were first-team all-conference doubles team. JoJo was a freshman of the year in the conference, her freshman year. She's now a junior. But JoJo and Emma, there's only 3 all-conference doubles teams, and they were one of the 3. And then Sophia and Ash, they were first or second-team all-conference. And again, there was only 3 teams there. So we had 2 of the 6 all-conference doubles teams, and those 4 players are all back. So that's exciting. So, we had 3 freshmen, another one, Nell, who actually played a lot with Ash this past fall and got a national ranking. They were ranked like 100 or so. And that'll probably end up being our 3rd doubles team. So we got some pretty solid doubles teams. And again, a lot of talent. So, it'll be a little bit of a learning curve for the 3 freshmen. This will be their first ever college match that they've been to, come the Cleveland State match, but they'll learn quick. what it's all about. So sent them to the basketball game the other day to get a little flavor of that. So welcome to college sports. So it was nice that we were able to beat James Madison. Thank you very much, basketball. So, so, we'll get started there. And, we got a good bunch returning, off a team that, like I said, did really well in the conference last year and had some good wins, outside of conference. So, we're excited about the program.
You've got this international flavor we've talked about, but you also have this really hometown feel to your team as well with Kylie Fisher. Mm-hmm. We can talk about her, Meredith Riley, Katie. Yeah, it's again. You have all thank you. You have all the names that I had the trouble with. Of all the squads, it's yours that gives me all the trouble. And as embarrassing as that is, I will own that. But you have this homegrown flavor to this team as well.
Sure. Yeah. But all three of them are on the team also. They all grew up playing here. They add a lot. They help us in practice. They really help transitioning the international players that we do recruit in and get them involved in the community, which we found is a huge, positive. They've met a lot of our, booster people, and, when we have events, and they end up feeling very welcome here. It's really a great setup, I feel like, for the international student athlete and the American, of course. But, the international, the size of the school, you get to know the administrators personally. It's a much easier transition than going to a school with maybe 35,000 or 50,000. And, that's something we talk a lot about, of course, in recruiting. But those three are, tremendously helpful. And like I said, help get them involved. And they learn, what Huntington and Marshall is all about, and, get to meet the people who are fantastic and so welcoming, to the players in our program and the players from overseas. It's really a joy to watch, and it's a great thing to, give them that opportunity to come here and see this area of the country.
My guest, John Mercer, tennis starting up this week. You've also got an event coming up, rescheduled for those maybe follow the program a little closer. They were expecting an earlier date for this, but you've got your Play with the Herd event coming up on Saturday, January 25th at 6 p.m. It's going to be at the Tennis Center in Barboursville, and it's an opportunity for fans to meet your team, meet your assistant coaches. Also, you get an opportunity to play some tennis. That's not necessarily the smartest thing to do when it comes to your squad. I wouldn't want to go up against them. Also, dinner and a lot more happening. Tell me more about that event and why is it so crucial to your program?
Yeah, so we use this as a fundraiser. We have two major ones. We have this one, and then we have one at the end of the spring that really helps. It's kind of an end-of-the-year banquet, you want to call it. And that you use that as a fundraiser also. This one we had done previously outside in the fall. Unfortunately, Marshall, we did a fantastic job of scheduling. There was literally something every single weekend on our campus. So we didn't want to really go up against anybody, any of the teams that were trying to draw attendance. So we decided to move it to an opening of the season event and do it indoors. Last year we had about 140 people outside. Probably wouldn't expect quite that many inside, but it was a beautiful day that we did it outside last year. And like I said, we'll do it indoors. It was supposed to be last weekend, but because of the snow forecast, we actually postponed it. And so it's not this weekend, but the following Saturday. And it's going at 6 o'clock. So we actually have a home match on Friday that we'll play at 4 o'clock. I think we're playing Bellarmine on Friday. Saturday we'll have this event at 6 in the evening. You can come, you can play if you want. If you don't want to play, you don't have to play. We do like different games and some double stuff and things like that. People get into it. Margaritas is catering it. We charge $50 a ticket, or if you're a high school student, it's $25. Younger than that, it's free. It's $100 for a family if you have 4 or more. Like I said, if people want to come meet these players and, meet them up close, and we'll have a poster signing. We're supposed to have our posters done by then, so keep your fingers crossed that happens. We'll have some, things that we're raffling off and giving away. So it's really fun. It's great. The tennis community gets very involved. Like I said, we had 140 last year, and they really come out. And, it's great for the girls on the team to see just the sport that they do have here, and meet some people. So it's always been a lot of fun and really good. So hopefully people want to come out. They can just go on our website. There's a place to register. You can just register online, and we'll see you there.
That's herdzone.com for everyone who's interested in signing up for this event. John Mercer's our guest. A lot of changes for you. You made a hire. You have an assistant coach. Funny enough, he has the last name Mercer as well. That's kind of convenient to have. So it's all Coach Mercer on this team, right?
Yeah.
Kind of convenient. Kind of convenient there. In any relation, this J.J. Mercer guy, is he any relation?
Yeah, this J.J. Mercer guy. Yeah, I think he knows a lot more people in Huntington than I think I know. So
maybe I should get him on the radio. Maybe he should be the guy I call up.
You really should. You should really get him on the radio. So he's fantastic. Alina, that that I referred to earlier, he actually was in England recruiting at the time, and Alina was kind of on the fence with some things, so he got on an airplane, flew to Germany, drove out into some cornfields in the middle of nowhere, and met with her and talked to her coach and said, hey, I was an All-American in Kentucky, and they were like, hey, we'll be there. So, it's paid off well. So, when you have somebody with his background, playing credentials, his pro results, that'll impress, a lot of good players and coaches around the world. So he brings a lot of knowledge. People know, his background at all. He was a 4-time state champion here in West Virginia, signed with Ohio State, was there 2 years, and then transferred to Kentucky, where he played actually for a national championship. He was on the team playing sixth at the time. Was an All-American doubles player last year. Was ranked 3 in the country, or seeded 3 in the doubles, and had a great college career. So he brings a lot of knowledge. He probably played for, or he did. I mean, 2 of the best coaches in the country, with Ty Tucker at Ohio State and Cedric at Kentucky, and so he's bringing a lot of knowledge in of what it takes to have a successful program. I mean, you saw what we did for his first 18 years of his life, and then he went and worked with those guys, and it's been great to see him work with the girls on the team. So it's been fantastic. Is
that a dream of yours to be able to work this closely with him? Was that something that you were kind of hoping that would happen in his career?
I never really thought about it. Yeah, I never really put a whole lot of thought into it. He got an extra year, which he finished his MBA at Kentucky. And he just called one night and was just like, hey, what do you think if I just come, help you out and see how it goes? And I was like, seriously? He's like, yeah, I want to come do it. So, he knew we were looking for an assistant. He, did it and interviewed with our SWA and a couple other people, and they were like, yeah, you'd be great. And I was like, yeah. So, it worked out. And, I mean, it's not something, I didn't want him to feel any pressure, to come back. And, I didn't know if he, you want to go coach men's tennis, do you want to coach the women's tennis, do you want to go get involved in a top 10 men's program, or you want to go out and use your MBA, I mean, I really left it up to him, what he wanted to do. And he reached out and one night and was like, hey, I'd really like to do it. I've been around it, and the team has been successful, and I want to help grow the program and make it better. And let's see what happens. So that's what we did, and so this spring should be a lot of fun. So he's got a lot of good ideas and a lot of insight, that's for sure.
I'm curious how this relationship's going to go, because you're now going from father to son to head coach, assistant coach, supervisor. I'm your boss. I'm kind of curious how that's going to work there. I'm interested.
Okay, so Yeah, so technically he has to answer to my boss, my SWA, so Beatrice Crane.
Okay.
So he can't technically answer to me. So from a legality standpoint, that's where we go. But the fun part of all this is that, as you know, his mother stepped in last year when our assistant coach left in December and was the assistant coach last year. And she also was the head coach for 9 years, right? As we all know.
We know that.
Now technically, yeah. So now technically she is back to being the volunteer assistant, which makes JJ over her. So she is technically answering to JJ now, which I don't know if that goes over so well sometimes. So, but JJ is really good at reminding his mother that he is now the assistant and she is the volunteer assistant. So it's a very interesting dynamic. But it's a lot of fun, and we get a lot done at practice, and the girls seem to be having a great time with it, and they're learning a lot, and it's pretty cool. So all good. So we got great personalities, and they're really into it. So
we all know in reality that the boss of the Mercer clan is Lori Mercer. We know reality here is. You might be the head coach. He might be the assistant coach. We know which Mercer both of you answer to at the end of the day. We know.
Yeah, for all our married folk out there, we all kind of have an idea how that works. So, yes.
I understand.
But she is unbelievably helpful for somebody who's not on payroll and is volunteer. I mean, the time that she puts in and the effort, things like putting this event together next Saturday, I mean, she just is invaluable. It's a great asset that Marshall has. I have for my team, and I'm going to use it. So I'm going to use it to make us better, and I think that's one reason we've been successful for as many years as we have been. That should continue to happen here.
My guest, John Mercer. Don't forget the Play with the Herd event coming up Saturday, January 25th, 6 p.m. at the Tennis Center in Barboursville. Tickets available, herdzone.com. And, of course, you're in action. The team gets underway here in a couple of days, heading up to Cleveland for a match with Cleveland State. And so it should be, I think it's going to be a fun season for you. I look forward to it, and we'll have you back on sooner than later. We got to catch up some more. And,
okay.
Of course, you've got a long season ahead.
Yeah, before you go, so we come home and we play that next weekend, and then and have that event in between the two matches. We play Bellarmine and EKU, and then the next weekend we play Wake Forest at home, which is pretty much usually a top 30 team. So if people want to see some really top flight tennis, that would be a great one to attend. So it's great that they're coming here. We owe them a return trip back next year, but they were excited to come to Huntington, and we're more than happy to have them. So people can put that on their calendar. I believe it's February 5th. So put that one on your calendar, and that would be a great one to watch.
Wake Forest is February 2nd, according to herdzone.com.
There you go. All right. Awesome.
Look, you're not allowed to look ahead, Coach. January 17th, that's the only date you have to focus on. You're not allowed to look ahead. That's it's JJ's job.
We can make it to Cleveland tomorrow.
Right, it's JJ's job to look ahead. That's his role. He's doing this scout.
There you go.
Put him to work.
There you go. He's on top of it. That's for sure.
John, good catching up with you. We need to do it more often. I'm glad we could spend a little bit more time with you today, talk a little herd tennis, and good luck. And I'll have you back soon, my friend.
Thank you, Paul. Thanks for having me, and go Herd.
There you have it. Head coach of the tennis team, John Mercer. Quick timeout. We'll get your text in 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. That's the Clark's Pump and Shop text line. More coming up on this edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Metro Community Federal Credit Union has been serving the Huntington community for 70 years and is proud to announce our newest location in Lavalette is now open. Wayne County residents, you now have access to a modern banking facility, a full range of services, advanced technology, expert financial advice, and even a smart coffee kiosk cafe. Learn more about Metro Community Federal Credit Union online at metrocommunityfcu.com or visit us today on 5th Street Road. Equal housing lender, member NCUA.
Hey, Tri-State, Frank's Place is where friends hang out with friends. Stop on by for happy hour from 4 to 6 p.m. and a lot of daily specials. If you're a sports fan, we have what you want. From the biggest game in professional football, NBA, NCAA basketball, and the NHL. First responders, stop by Frank's Place and check out the specials we have for you. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza, next to Fratelli's. Check us out on Facebook for weekly updates and specials. Frank's Place, your home away from home.
Stalwart Insurance is the name for insurance in the Tri-State. They are committed to delivering tailored benefit solutions with thoughtful, strategic planning with valuable professional services. Stop by or call Stalwart Insurance for your homeowner's insurance needs. Stalwart Insurance is located right beside Kitty Queen Hardware on Route 10 in Barbersville. Call Stalwart Insurance anytime at 304-552-3883. That's 304-552-3883. Or visit them online at stalwartinsurance.com.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover guitar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Okay, forest animals, today is a new day. Kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow.
Yes?
Have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. Okay, River.
Dude,
How's the temperature?
it's a refreshing 52 degrees, man. Perfect for a little riverside shoeless relaxation.
Ah, good. Owl, you here? Course. Who's asking? I am. Look, you know the drill. Sleep during the day, scare the kids at night. Perfect. I love my job. Oak Tree?
Sup?
Still in the same place I left you last year. That's what I like. Consistency.
Well, it's not like I'm going anywhere for the next couple hundred years.
I know. I love it. Turtle. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. You'd think he would have learned by now to leave the night before our meetings. Okay. Squirrel. Has anybody seen Mr. Squirrel?
The forest has been preparing just for you. Visit a forest near you today. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
160,000 kids stay home from school every day for the same reason: bullying. This is Dale Lee, president of the West Virginia Education Association. Bullying impacts nearly 1/3 of all students every year, but parents, educators, and concerned adults can make a difference. It takes just one caring adult to intervene and help stop the bullying. Victims need an adult that will listen, will stand up for them, and most importantly, show them that they are not alone. Bullying and cyberbullying have far-reaching effects, from a decline in academic performance to physical illness, depression, or worse. Help us create a safe, bully-free learning environment for all students in West Virginia. One caring adult can make all the difference. Take the pledge to be that adult at nea.org/bullyfree.
A message from the West Virginia Education Association.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Follow at Paul Swann on X for Marshall sports updates and more.
Our Clark's Pump and Shop text line this hour, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Welcome back to today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. To our text line we go. Texter wants to know if I've seen the article about Coach Huff complaining that the biggest problem in the locker room was players complaining about the rating they were assigned in the NCAA college football game. I did see that article. I didn't give it much thought, to be honest with you. I get it. College kids are excited. I mean, yeah, I get it. It's a fun game. I had an intern here, Ben. If you remember Ben was our intern. And Ben's a great kid. But Ben was obsessed with that NCAA football game. Absolutely obsessed with it. And so I get it. I understand. You're a certain age group. You're probably all into that, especially if you're into college sports and you love playing your PlayStation and you get that game. And it's sort of like Madden where NFL players complain about their ranking. I didn't pay much to it. However, I'll take it with a grain of salt only because it's Coach Huff. You know he's prone to embellish. Oh, yeah, the biggest problem we had was players complaining about their ranking in NCAA. I don't know if it was widespread or not. I don't think it was that widespread. So, yeah, I did see the article, not paying much attention to it. It's a weird flex. I'd focus more on the game myself. Honestly, the real game, the one you're playing. That's if you want your ranking to go up, you want your rating to go up, show it on the football field. Absolutely. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. That's our text line to be a part of today's show here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Texter writes in, Paul, do you think the Herd can beat JMU tonight in Henderson Center? Talking about the women's game, of course. Maybe. JMU's pretty tough. Thundering Herd, unfortunately, right now, 0-5 in league play, 5-11 overall. Coming into this contest, it's a different year. Obviously, last year, Coach Caldwell had this team humming at this point, and JMU is one of those teams that really did give the Herd a bit of a challenge. This year, completely different dynamic altogether. If you're going to turn it around, tonight's the night. That game's at the Henderson Center coming up tonight, 6 o'clock. You can, I believe it's on, that's on ESPN+. So you can watch that one if you're not heading out to it, and it's a whiteout tonight. You're encouraged to wear white to that one. And, of course, you can pick up the white rally towel. I will not be picking up the white rally towel. More of your texts coming up. We went a little long with Coach Mercer, so that's okay. We'll get you on the other side of the break with our text line, brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop, 304-396-TALK. On today's edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Stalwart Insurance is the name for insurance in the tri-state. They are committed to delivering tailored benefit solutions with thoughtful, strategic planning with valuable professional services. Stop by or call Stalwart Insurance for your homeowner's insurance needs. Stalwart Insurance is located right beside Kenny Queen Hardware on Route 10 in Barbersville. Call Stalwart Insurance anytime at 304-552-3883. That's 304-552-3883. Or visit them online at stalwartinsurance.com. Buddy's All-American Barbecue is now in Milton. Enjoy all your favorite Buddy's classics like pulled pork, brisket, ribs, and more on East Main Street in Milton. Buddy's All-American Barbecue, the home of great barbecue, ice-cold beer, and killer wings in Huntington and now in Milton.
Now is the time to add on a new bathroom or remodel your old one with the latest up-to-date bathroom fixtures from Mutual Wholesalers, 710 5th Street, Huntington. Come in today to Mutual Wholesalers' beautiful showroom and see how your new bathroom will look. Check out Acre by Max. Have a new bathroom this year. Mutual Wholesalers, locally owned and operated, 710 5th Street, Huntington. Call 304-525-9118.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover guitar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Miss an episode? Catch it anytime on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Final segment, today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our Clark's Pump and Shop text line is still open, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. A couple of interesting stories to briefly touch on. You know, the Cleveland Browns are looking to relocate to the suburbs after the stadium lease expires in 2028. Well, the Browns owners are going to be sued. The city of Cleveland's filing a lawsuit claiming the team has violated the Modell Law, which prohibits teams receiving state funding from moving without permission. Do you believe that? They just decided to just up and leave. It's crazy. It's crazy that a team would just up and leave Cleveland. That's going to be interesting. I'm going to follow that with a lot of glee. They're wanting to build a $2.4 billion stadium in Brook Park. That's 15 miles south of downtown Cleveland. So good luck to them there. Also, interesting today, women's basketball, we'll get more on this story, but the women's basketball NCAA tournament is going to have a new structure for compensating teams in the tournament. For the first time, women's teams will be paid for their participation, similar to how men's teams have been compensated for years. So there's going to be performance units for the women, which represents the revenue generated by the tournament. So if a women's team reaches the Final Four, could generate about $1.26 million for its conference over the next 3 years. I'm surprised it took this long. At the same time, I'm surprised it wasn't set up to be this way at the beginning. You would think you would want to keep it equal. And there's a lot more revenue being generated by the women's tournament now more than ever. People are actually tuning in and excited about women's basketball. I'm not sure if it's just the Caitlin Clark effect or it's just been growing over the years or a little bit of both. But there's actually a fair way to compensate these institutions now. So maybe there's going to be more put into women's athletics from the conference level as far as women's basketball is concerned. If there's more revenue to be made, obviously you're going to probably see more put into the sport. And that's a good thing. That's a positive thing. And I hope that really trickles down to leagues like the Sun Belt that will focus on some of those sports a little bit more. With that said, we're out of time. Thanks for everyone who tuned in today. I want to thank my guest, John Mercer, the head coach of the Marshall tennis team. Just a reminder, he's got an event coming up with his squad that is Play with the Herd, and that's Saturday, January 25th at the Tennis Center in Barbersville. You want more details, you want to get tickets, head over to herdzone.com. John's a great guy. I always appreciate it when we get a chance to talk to him. Looking forward to his upcoming season. I'll be back with you tomorrow. We've got basketball, the Thundering Herd on the road, taking on James Madison. We've got the game for you coming up tomorrow. We go on the air 6 o'clock with our pregame on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930 and 93.7 The Dog. Then we'll have the game broadcast and keep it locked right here all night long, all day tomorrow. ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Have a great night, everyone.
Broadcasting from the Dave & Buster's studios. Eat, drink, play, and watch at Dave & Buster's in the Huntington Mall. ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. WRBC, W231BS Huntington.